Okay, so very welcome to everybody. I'm so excited to be on this webinar with you guys. It's been a little while since I've just done a, middle of the week, end of week webinar. Hopefully many of you were able to attend. Last week we did a non-farm payroll webinar and it was pretty exciting. We saw a little bit of movement on CAD pairs and Aussie pair, or excuse me, dollar pairs. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So we had some good stuff. Hennison, I wish I could. There's no volume on mic typically, so it's all on the speakers. Sorry about that, but I will try to talk as loud as I can. And hopefully everyone is hearing me okay. Are we good on, is audio pretty good for everybody right now? I'm talking pretty loud and I'm pretty close to my microphone, so I don't know if I can turn things up too much beyond where they are. So audio is coming through good for everybody right this moment? Good. Excellent. All right, very good. Yes, Chris, it is still light outside. It's still light. Hi, Kara. Nice to see you. Is this from Huntington Beach? Kara, same one? If so, very welcome. Happy to have you. Nice to see you. Okay, good, guys. So let's get this show on the road. Newport, excuse me. I know you're from the Huntington situation. Love it so much. Let's get this thing going. Let's get rocking and rolling here. Okay, so let me move this really quick here and here and here and all of this stuff. There we go. I think we got what we need. Very welcome, everybody. So happy to have you guys with us. This is always a good typing test. So everybody just really quick type in where you're from. You can type city, state, country, southern hemisphere, whatever you want. Let's just see where everyone's kind of joining us from. Hi, Yemi from the UK. Welcome. And Hoffy's from Holland. Good to see you. And Ray, my friend, good to see you from Canada. Always good to have you with us there. North Carolina, Eureka. Oh, Ireland, New Zealand, Utah, Canada, Philly, New Zealand, New Jersey. Oh, man, Minnesota. Hey, Jack, good to see you, my man. Tom from Winnipeg. Excellent. Is it like Tom Keogh or is it another Tom? Either way, very happy to have you. Welcome. Hey, Tom, good to see you, my friend. Eric from Mexico and Los Angeles and Trinidad. Wow, we got a whole crew here. Sunshine Coast, Australia. Yeah, that is lovely. Super lovely. Well, good to see you guys. Welcome. I'm usually hailing from the Southern California location. Today, I find myself just outside of Park City, Utah, right at Park City, Utah area. So if anybody's up here skiing, there's a lot of snow and a lot of stuff going on in cold situations, which I don't really specialize in, but here we are. So welcome, guys. I'm so happy to have you on with us today. We're going to talk about, as I like to call it, the 5-minute pips. And this is really a webinar dedicated at sharing with you some ideas about trading and specifically some ideas about some short-term trading. Those of you that are in my trade groups and so on, you know that I really like the longer-term trades. I really like to go for those big puppies. But markets change, things change, and we've got some really great things that we're doing and some very profitable things that we're doing. And I'm very excited to share it with you guys tonight. I want to show, a couple techniques and a couple of basic things that we're doing and some live trades that we've done actually that I think will be exciting for everybody to see, hopefully. So let's get going. And let's talk a little bit about what is in the works here. Okay, so thing number one, I'm Jared Johnson, and I'm super happy to have you guys with us today. Once again, very welcome to everybody from all over the world. Super exciting to have all you guys with us. Let's dive into some great material. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about how to kind of focus our time a little bit, because what is our goal constantly? We want to trade less, earn more. And I'm going to show you a very simple strategy that's going to help you be able to do that more effectively. And I'm pretty excited about it. As you guys know, I do these types of webinars, honestly, about every 6 months. So, about twice a year, I'll do these things where I talk to you guys and I share some trading techniques, and it's just this kind of stuff. I just don't do them that often, and I probably should do them more, but time is of the essence. Speaking of, trading less and earning more. So I'm super happy you guys are here with us. This is, once or twice a year kind of webinar that we do. Okay. If you guys will hang with me, stay till the end, I've got a special offer, a very, very special offer. I'm going to show you this technique, and I'm going to show you a lot about this, and it's going to be super exciting. And then hang out with us till the end, and I've got a really special offer for you guys that I think you're going to like. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I don't like to talk a ton, and I have to on these webinars. And I'm happy to, but I won't drag this on for hours and hours. So we'll probably go for 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the most. There's a lot of stuff to talk about and teach and learn, and questions to ask and answer. And I want you guys to ask questions. I want you, especially as we're talking about some of this technique, I want to make sure that, you feel like you're being heard and your questions are being answered and so on. So I won't rush through it too much, but I also don't want to, drag it on too long. Okay, so just as a little reminder, some of you are new and you don't know me, you haven't seen me. As you can tell, I'm a very attractive person. Okay, here's me and my lovely wife. She's the attractive one. We're kind of just good old normal folk. This was taken just a couple months ago, I think. And anyway, that's what I look like, and I apologize in advance. So here's me and my wife, and this is the voice behind the name. So again, I'm Jared Johnson. I'm the founder of Day Traders FX Trading Group, and I love being the founder of this trading group because I have been part of so many trading groups, and I've been part of so many different organizations throughout my 15 or 16 years of trading now, and I have found. It was hard for me to find groups that I thought I wanted to be in, And so I just thought, I'm going to have to create my own. And I did. And I've been running it for 10 years, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. And many of you are in my trade group, and I'm super happy to see you here with us today. But the trade group is one of my passions. It's a great time. I love trading. I love working with traders. I love talking with you guys. I love meeting people from different parts of the planet. It's all very good stuff. I have had a wonderful opportunity, by the way, from running this trade group for so long to I've met people all over the world that are in my trade groups, all over Europe, all over the US, Asia, South America. I've been able to meet people from trade groups wherever I go, from my trade group wherever I go. I'm pretty sure we have at least one person from every single country on the planet, and then some. So it's pretty awesome. Okay, guys, as traders, we have a very specific thing that we're up to, right? We want to sit in front of our computer, hit some buttons, and have dollar bills fly at our faces. At least that's what I want. I don't know if you guys don't share that with me, but that's the goal here. We just want to make some good trades and pull some money out of thin air. And guess what we do? We do it. We do it every day. We do it every week. We do it every month. We're pulling money out of thin air, and it's awesome. Well, as it turns out, that's what we want to do. But that's not always what we do. And that's not always the end result. We want to, this has been my life forever, and it still is my life to some degree, even though I'm in a snowier area for a short term. We want to do as little as possible, and we want to make as much as possible. That's the goal, right? Effort to output needs to be seriously imbalanced in the way of output. We want lots of output. We want little input. So that we can spend time on the beach, we can have fun, we can enjoy our lives. We've got Jono here from and Saji. Sorry, probably horrible pronunciations of both of your names, from Australia, and specifically the Sunshine Coast. You know all about sitting on the beach. I remember, and I've told this story once or twice, I remember sitting on a beach in Thailand with my wife, and I was thinking to myself, is trading really my career? Do I really want to do this? This was several years ago. We didn't have any kids yet, and I'm just sitting on this beach, and I had my computer with me, right? I had my computer, and I was looking at some trades, and I just said, is this really my life? you know, because I'd been thinking, okay, it's probably time to go and get my MBA and maybe, you know, maybe do whatever, right? Go further into Wall Street or whatever, which I had worked on a bit. And I'm sitting on this beach realizing I know a lot of people that work on Wall Street. I know a lot of attorneys. I know a lot of investors, and they're sitting in offices stressed out. And I'm sitting on this beach in Thailand. And it kind of became real to me at that point. And ever since, I've traveled the world and just carried my laptop with me and been able to trade. Now, I'm not going to say I'm one of these crazy success stories where I sit under my umbrella and make $1 million. No, I'm a steady trader. I'm profitable. I pay my bills. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I'm able to travel the world, and I have a lot of flexibility. That's it. And it's awesome. And it's actually a real thing. So I had a broker tell me, I just don't know if people really know how to trade Forex. And I said, well, if you jumped in my trade group for, I don't know, a couple of days, a week, a month, you would think otherwise, because we have hundreds of successful traders in the group, and it's awesome. So successful trading doesn't mean you're driving a Ferrari around. It can mean that, and that's super awesome, but it means you're actually really making consistent money and you've got some flexibility. So that's what we love about trading. What we want to try to avoid when we're trying to pull those dollar bills out of the screen as we sit in front of the market during opens and closes of various trading sessions across the world, we want to avoid this, wasting our time, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Because trading is a ton of waiting, right? It's kind of a waiting game. It's a patience game. And particularly as political things happen and as markets, political and economic news hits markets, they get really unstable and they just start to go sideways. And our question is, what do we do? Do we sit and waste our time and wait for the ultimate setup? Are there ways that we can better take advantage of that? What are we doing? So our goal is to take advantage of all types of market conditions, number one. And number two, not burn ourselves out in the process. We don't want to sit at our computer, sit at our desk, and just be going and going and going and waiting for that setup and waiting for that setup. I have my smartphone, which is funny to even say that. That makes me sound very 2002. I have my phone that I will look at my trades constantly. I set tons of chart alarms, and I just walk away. I walk away. And I don't find myself sitting in front of the charts all day long waiting for these setups. And I bring up some of this stuff because particularly in the last few months, it's been a massively sideways market, right? There's been some movement. There's been a little bit of movement here and there, but currencies in general and stocks have been a little bit that way as well, are quite sideways. Now, there's an important lesson to be learned from that, but let's just talk about that for a moment. Markets have been a little bit sideways lately, and we've been just waiting and waiting and waiting for setup, for movements, for so on. One thing that I follow is I follow a lot of the financial news and specifically Forex news, obviously. Brokers, all the big brokers in the U.S. and a lot of the big brokers across the globe, they announce their monthly volumes, right? They say, hey, this is how we did this month, and this is how it compared to, this month last year, and this month the year before, and this is how it compared to last month. And volume for brokers dropped in most situations for most brokers. Volume in February dropped by more than 50%, which is hard for these brokers. It means they made half as much money as they normally do. They're hating it a little bit. So markets have been sideways. They've been a little difficult to trade, and we're just over here twiddling our thumbs, wondering what to do. Well, wonder no longer. Because what I want to help you do in trading is more. I want to help you with more profit, and I want to help you do it with less effort. And that's where we're going to get this short-term trading stuff from. This is our goal. We're going to be talking about, as you know, I do a lot of long-term trading. We're going to be talking about how to do short-term trading and how to really take advantage of these little opportunities that happen literally every single day, where we can find 10 to 25 pips worth of profit. Super awesome. Super awesome. And I'm super happy to share it with you guys today. So when the market tells us hurry up and wait, we have something to answer back. And that is, when we're waiting for things, I'm going to give you guys some very specific steps to follow. And when those criteria line up and you've taken the proper steps, which take a minute maybe to do, then we'll know it's time to trade. And when those things aren't happening, let's put our energy in better places. I'll be honest, better place for me to put my energy is right here with these guys. I don't know if anybody has little kids, but I got 3 of them. I've got 3 little kids, and I've got plenty of places to put my energy when I'm waiting for the market to set up. But there are some fantastic opportunities while we're, quote, waiting for these big setups, and we're going to talk about what those are. Everybody with me so far? Any questions? Any comments? Has anybody experienced this a little bit over the last couple of weeks or last month or so? Have you noticed that it seems like the markets are moving a little bit less? Am I the only one here, or are you guys noticing that a little bit? You noticing that some of the big movements have been less, and it's been a lot of sideways consolidation, a lot of chop? Ray, you're feeling it. You're feeling it, man. Mel, yep. Yemi, yep, very much so. Yeah, and the last thing that we want to do is just burn ourselves out waiting for setups. Let's know some specific steps to take, and if those things aren't lining up, go hang out with your family, go hang out on the beach, go have fun. All our goal here to do is make sure that we are following a good process, and that our account's growing, whether that's 1 pip a week or 100 pips a day. We want to make sure that our accounts are growing. Resisting the impatience. Yes, that's a tough one, Mel. I hear you. Yeah, Jim. Yep, absolutely. Jono, Chewy, not doing too bad though. The pound has been an interesting one. It has moved. And I have just opted to kind of steer clear of it a little bit. The pound is so crazy, and all the news and votes that it has. I haven't hardly traded the pound in a year or so. And there's been some good opportunities there, but I think I'm getting too old. And I say that by, many of you know that I'm in my late 30s. I'm getting too old in that I don't want to risk. I don't want to gamble on a trade. I want to take trades that I have a high degree of confidence that are going to work out for me. I'm with you. I've been staying away a little bit myself as well. Oh, George. Hey, my friend. Is this George Zerial? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Yes, there is audio. There is definitely audio, Sim. There is definitely audio. Okay, so good. Let's move on. And let's keep on going here. I'm glad you guys are feeling it and still with me. Okay, good. So here is a fact, right? Sometimes the Forex market can suck, and it can suck pretty bad sometimes. And we have seen that a bit over the last, as we've talked about, over the last several weeks. The market has just been kind of as I call my kids sometimes, it's been kind of a stinker. Come here, stinker, I always tell my kids. And the market has been a bit of that. It's been just a choppy, messy, unfriendly place for new traders, particularly. For experienced traders, also, it's been tough. And somehow, some way, we still come ahead, week after week. We're still making profits. We're still making money. And it's because I'm following some very simple steps. Something that's important to remember is that we can make money in that suck. Just like I said, week after week, we are, we're making money. We're coming out ahead, and we're just, those that are in the trade group, in my both trade groups with me, you'll know, we're making money. We're making money. Anybody that's in here can say, yeah, I'm in this group with them. I'm making some money. Because, again, there are some steps that we like to follow. Remember, the markets are very much like the weather, or very much like the seasons, and we have different needs for different seasons, right? These are kind of both of my realities right now. I surf, and I have a house by the beach, and I also now have a house in the mountains in the snow. And what I wear when I'm by the beach is very different from what I wear when I'm in the mountains, right? I didn't even own a pair of socks until I bought this little mountain house, and now I have socks because it's freezing cold here. But normally I have a surfboard and flip-flops and shorts, and that's it. And so we need to know that the market is Uh, I'm with you, George. Socks suck. We need to know that the market is a changing, living thing, and we can't take the same approach at a changing market. We have to have different tools in our arsenal. We have to have different tools in our bag of tricks, so that we can take advantage of the different things that are happening in the week by week and month by month basis. Mel, I'm glad to hear it. Been doing well in the trade group this time around. Excellent. That's super awesome. Good to hear it, man. Very good to hear it. So just so that we know, as I've mentioned, I like long-term trades. I like making the big profits. Sometimes those big profits are more difficult to make. As some of you have said, you've been able to grab them out of some of the pound pairs and all the crazy volatility there, and that's awesome. But, a lot of the regular markets are not moving big, and so it's hard to get some of those big trades. So we need to be able to be nimble and move with the changing markets. So where do we get started? Where do we go from here? I'm glad you asked. And even if you didn't ask, I'm going to tell you. So here is where we get started. I am definitely not one of those traders, and many of you guys know traders and marketers and so on that have some sort of new course constantly that has a funny name, and it's very different from whatever other thing they had before, and so on and so on. And I am not judging any of that at all. I think that's great. If you can find something that works, no matter how many things there are, that's great, and that's super awesome. What I have found is I've got a core set of skills and techniques that have a lot of agility, right? Things that I have done for the last 15 years in trading, with small tweaks can work very well in big trending markets, and very well in sideways, choppy, consolidated markets, and very well for 200 and 300 pip trades, and very well for 10 and 20 pip trades. And so I want to talk to you guys about what those things are. I'm not here to necessarily present something completely brand new and completely off the charts. I'm presenting a new take on some techniques that I have been using for a very long time. And I think that's pretty exciting. It may not sound super exciting, but it is super exciting because this is nothing that I just dreamed up and came up with. These are things that I use on a regular basis that work incredibly well for me. So as I like to say, this is kind of incorporating everything I know, and it's just having a new take on it. And we're, as the Beatles would say, it's all these things that are coming together. So that's what we want. Okay, so let's talk about what some of these details are. Whether we're short-term traders or long-term traders, the icebergs that sink our Titanic very, very often are as follows: timing, direction, entries, and exits. How do we kick that? You guys ever experienced any difficulty with those things? You ever experienced any difficulty with timing or direction? Have you ever just been so 100% wrong about a trade? like so 100% wrong about a trade? Anyone else? I have a lot, actually, to be honest. I've definitely been wrong big time about trades. But it's something that we can overcome to a pretty healthy degree. So what I want to talk about here is, good, Chris, thank you for your honesty. Thanks for your honesty. It's hard to admit that sometimes we just bomb it. I remember one time, and you guys will hear me talk about this a lot in the trade groups, and I'll do some webinars about this for the public as well. I talk about the pre-summer push, right? And again, when markets were much more volatile, when I started trading, 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, every summer, right, or every year right before summer, a month or two before summer, the markets would just break out and they'd run like crazy. I remember I was sitting in this trade. I'd been trading for maybe 2 years. And I was sitting in this trade, and I had a small position, and I was looking to kind of scale into it. And the market had just been going up and down for like weeks in about 100 pip range. This currency pair I was in, I think it was the pound dollar. It was just going up and down and up and down. And I had good reason to believe, and now that I think about it, I don't even know what my reason was, but I had good reason to believe it was going to go down. So I had this awesome sell trade, and it was, profitable 10 pips. It was in a loss 20 or 30 pips. It was profitable 20 or 30 pips. And I thought, I don't want to get stopped out of this thing. I just want to let this go. And I let this trade run for a couple of weeks. And I wasn't aware of the pre-summer movement at that point. I just didn't know about it. and the pound starts to break out, and it proceeds to run up 900 pips. So that was bad. And so I have this trade that's 900 pips upside down. And I'm just wondering, what in the world? What just happened? Where did that come from? And that was my second summer of trading. Now, I was expecting it to be a long-term trade, so it didn't kill my account. It didn't blow me up, but it was 900 pips I had to deal with, and I ultimately was able to get out of the trade with some profit. But it took a long time, and and I just thought to myself, wow, there are some, I could literally fill a barn with things that I don't know right now. And so, throughout the years of trading and throughout picking up some of the details, there's so much great stuff to talk about. I just wish we had so much more time. But these are the three things that get everybody. And I know they seem obvious, but they're so super important. Timing, right? Timing is a big deal. Direction is a big deal. Our entries and our exits, those are the things that sneak up on us. And so many times I think many traders out there, and I know many traders out there because they tell me this on a pretty regular basis. They say, I feel like I'm trading blind, like there's something I'm just completely missing. And that's for this kind of stuff right here, right? We see a little bit, and then there's a lot that we don't see. So how do we find those things that we're not seeing? Well, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you how we find those things. I want to talk about a couple of examples: New Zealand Swiss, New Zealand CAD. Actually, I want to talk about the dollar peso as well. I'm going to talk about a few examples that are going to help us identify this stuff. Now, as I said, guys, these three important elements right here are a big deal. They're a super big deal. And as I said over here, I'm not coming to you with something totally unheard of and totally crazy. I'm coming to you with a strategy that is going to help you identify these three elements right here and make good use of them, especially and particularly in the short term. In the short term, I'm going to demonstrate some of this by some of the trades that we have had recently. I have many members in here that are in both of my trade groups. I run 2 trade groups, and so you guys will be able to verify that that I'm not just lying to everybody's faces about this. At least hopefully. Feel free to step in. A recent trade that was done. Now remember, guys, we're talking some short-term trading here. We're talking, how can we take advantage of some of these movements? How can we take advantage of, you look at a movement like this, and you have to think to yourself, what is going on? What am I missing here? What is actually happening? Markets are up and down. These are swings of not a lot of pips, right? Less than 100 pips most of the time, sometimes 100 pips. And it's just a lot of this up and down. I mean, how do you really trade something like this with any massive degree of success? Well, I'll show you. I'll show you how we do. What I like to do, and the reason that I call this the 5-minute pips is because we're going to use the 5-minute chart a lot. We're going to use the 5-minute chart a lot. Mel, I was just going to bring that up. You made around 80 pips on the New Zealand CAD this morning. We closed the New Zealand CAD trade for 80-ish pips and 79, 80 pips right in that area there. It was a great little trade. Glad you were able to participate in that. It's awesome, Mel. So when we look at stuff like this, we're going to take 3 things into account, right? We're going to take into account that we need to have targets, we need to have some timing, and we need to have some levels. And so, you touch here. I love it. I love it. So these are things that we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you these examples here. Timing, targets, levels. So who in here made it into the New Zealand Swiss trade? And you guys will know who you are. So anybody make it into the New Zealand Swiss trade? Okay, George, you made it in New Zealand Swiss. Good. Anyone else make this New Zealand Swiss trade that's in my trade group? Anybody else? Okay, Jim made it. Okay, Mel missed this one. Mel, I didn't post it in the group that you're in, so no problem. It's all right. Chris, okay. Oh, and you're still in it. Jeez, man. Bob, good, good, good. So here is what we have going on. Here is the setup, right? I have been using, and I've actually been posting quite a few 5-minute trades. Oh, yes, Mel. Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it in a minute. I've been posting quite a few little 5-minute trades that are that have been working out really well. And this New Zealand Swiss, this is just the most recent example, so that's why I'm showing it, so you can see that this, you know, this trade played out on the 12th, was when it started to kind of run into some profitability. Here we are on the 14th, so it was 2 days ago. And there's been some other trades and some other things to kind of watch along the way, but what we had right here, because remember, timing is our issue, right? Timing is a major issue. But what we had right here is a very simple 5-minute setup. And I want you guys to start watching 5-minute charts. Just start watching your 5-minute charts. Now, 5-minute isn't everything, but 5 minutes is a big part of it. This is a 200 exponential moving average. That's what that red line is right there. And you guys have heard me talk about this. Those of you that have my scanner and my 15-minute trade, you've heard me talk about this. I have been heavily watching this and trading this lately for short-term trades on the 5-minute chart. I haven't used the 5-minute chart hardly at all in years. In years and years and years, I haven't hardly used the 5-minute chart. And I've been using it a lot the past several months. I always watch it with these kinds of setups. I just don't oftentimes take the trades. And I started incorporating some of the longer-term picture stuff that I was looking for and putting it onto the 5-minute chart. And the results have been pretty good. For those of you that are in the trade group where I posted the New Zealand Swiss trade, hopefully everybody made 40, 50 pips on this whole thing. There were multiple trading opportunities, and you know, if you wanted to just stay in it a little bit longer, there was at least you know, one decent-sized trade out of it. And so that's awesome. So we had a couple of very simple things, right? We had a timing signal, and that is this. That is, we had not touched the 200 moving average in quite a while. Now, I have a lot more instruction on this, but I want everybody to just look for on their 5-minute charts across the board. I want you to look at this 5-minute chart, and I want you to start looking for opportunities where you can see that the market has not hit that 200 moving average in a fairly extended amount of time, right? And that extended amount of time is around 200 plus candlesticks. So just to illustrate this, there was a touch right there, and so we started watching this, and it didn't touch, and it didn't touch the red line, and it didn't touch, and it got a little more space, and it didn't touch. The next thing you know, we're over here, and this thing has gone a pretty good little distance, right? This has gone a good little bit. We're up in the 200s already. This is starting to give us a little bit of hey, this is overextended. This is ready for a move down into the moving average, down like that, right? And so what did it end up doing? Chris, you may remember, and George, and whoever else was in this trade with me, I called the trade at 69.10. I said, sell the New Zealand Swiss at 69.10, exactly. So here's what it did. It ran up, and it hit 69.10 a bunch of times, and it kept running down. 69.10 ran down to 68.95. That's 15 pips. It ran back up to 69.10. It ran back down to 68.95. It ran back up to 69.20, 10 pips higher, and it ran back down here to 68.95. It just kept running up and down and up and down. And what did it turn out to have here? It turned out that, number one, we had this high bar count that was saying timing. This thing is getting overextended, and it needs to come back, and it needs to hit this red line. It's a very simple concept, and it sounds crazy sometimes, but it's just literally that simple. When a candlestick count gets high and a currency pair has not touched a moving average for an extended period of time, and I actually have all those numbers, then we can start looking for some short-term opportunities to trade back to that moving average. Now, I'm going to show you something else that we can do with this kind of a bar count that actually helped our trade this morning that Mel was talking about, the New Zealand CAD. But this gives us little opportunities to just look for scalps. We had a 15 pip run there, a 15 pip run there, pulls back. We had a 25 pip run there, pulls back, and we ended up with a 40, a 40 plus pip, 40, 50 pip run down into our target, which was 68.75. So we ended up with some pretty good little pips on this trade. But what happened is we had 4 or 5 trading opportunities in this 12, 24, more like 24-hour period. There was quite a few trading opportunities there that were super interesting. Hennison, I feel like you have a good question here. Does the 200 bar count from 200 bar distance from the 200 EMA criteria apply to all charts and time frames? 200, no, but the bar count does apply to all time frames, yes. And I'll show you a little bit more about those bar counts in just a moment. But yes, we look for different numbers on different time frames. Good question. Thanks for asking that. So number one, guys, we had timing. We had our signal was telling us, and we have some software. I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. We'll open this up. So we have some software that helps us with some of this timing. This software is called the scanner software. I have had many versions of this in the last little while, but this has been the one that really kind of stands the test of time. And this will tell us how many bars we need to be looking for. It'll tell us how many bars we have. It tells us a lot of great stuff, but I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. So what happened was my software said, New Zealand Swiss has not touched the moving average in a long time. Start looking at it. But that's not the only thing, right? Because I need to have some targets and I need to have some levels. I need to see that the market is behaving to some degree. So I have this 5-minute bar count. So next thing I want to look for is, do I have any targets? Now, those of you that have been with me for a little while, you know that I am a huge fan of pivot points. Is anybody here not familiar with pivot points? Anybody not familiar with pivot points? Don't be shy, because if everybody's familiar with pivot points, then I can just move on real quick. But if anybody's not familiar with it, I want to spend an extra 5 minutes and just make sure that you guys know what pivot points are and why they are used. Okay, yeah, Mel, you're familiar. Oh, Sam has not had success with pivot points. Well, because pivot points on their own are very much not useful and very much not helpful. They can be, but this is a package deal, remember, guys. We're looking for targets, pivot points. We're looking for timing, bar counts, right? Now we're starting to have a couple of things lining up here. You can see right here, if I zoom it out just a little bit, I have a daily pivot point right here. So now I've got this bar count. The market is starting to tell me, let's go to the 1 hour chart for just a moment. So this trade happened over here, and this is no super special trade. It's just this is how it this is how we see the setups. I had a bar count. I had a missed daily pivot here and a missed weekly pivot here. And speaking of targets, I had a market imbalance right here. And this is why I was targeting 68.75 on this trade when we started selling this up here, and it ran right down and pounded on that 68.75. A market imbalance is a very simple thing on a 1 hour chart, and it's where you have some consolidation and a breakout with no pullback. And when you can start to overlap market imbalances with missed pivot points, we have a very powerful magnetic type tool that is that's telling us that we have a direction to be trading. So what I was talking about earlier about how the trend in the market is kind of becoming a little bit irrelevant, right? Trends, markets are just big range-bound sideways things now. Trends are potentially a thing of the past. So only those that understand targets and bar counts are going to be able to successfully navigate through these trends. Those of you that are in my trade groups, yes, we have some long-term trades that'll go against us 100 pips. We're not talking about long-term trades today. We're talking about short-term trades. But those long-term trades that might go against us 100 pips that ultimately go for us 200 and 300 and 400 pips, we know that those are, we know how we find those trends, and we find those trends using targets. Anybody that's questioning whether these trades happen and how they happen and so on, here's some notes from the trade group, right? Here's a trade that we just closed right here, New Zealand CAD, closed it out at 90.75 for 80 pips. Boom, 80 pips. You can see that position history, you can see these trades in there. 80 pips, 20 pips, 45 pips. We've had a couple of small ones in there, 58 pips, 225, 40. Little loss right there, 145 pips, 145 pips. That's a peso, 1,500 pips. 400 pips, New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD, 350 pips. We're looking for these big runs, right? But these trades can absolutely, and these ideas and these principles I'm talking about can absolutely be tied in to the shorter term. And so as long as we're following these three situations right here, these three criteria of timing, targets, and levels, then we've got ourselves a very, very nice, very interesting little setup. So this New Zealand Swiss right here, we didn't have to do anything other than just say, hey, I've got a bar count right over here. Get back to it. I've got a bar count here. I've got some fantastic, excellent targets below. I've got at least 2 targets below, 2 missed pivot points below that are calling my name. I've got some short-term resistance right here, which turned into a little bit of bigger resistance up here. So I've got a nice little level I'm trading against, 69.10 over and over and over again, which turned out to be a nice, better double, triple top here at 69.20. So we had levels we were trading against. We had targets, lower targets we were looking for. This isn't a trender's market, guys. If you're a trend trader, that's great. You can make money trading these short-term trends. But this is a market where we trade the imbalances. When something runs up too quickly, because we don't have a heavily trending market, it's going to run back down. And when it runs back down too quickly, it's going to run back up. And it's going to do it over and over and over again. And as long as we understand these three concepts here, we have got some great things to be looking for. Timing, targets, and levels. So we need to know where are strong places in the market, right? Where are those strong places for our entries and for our exits? And those levels can be targets, they can be pivot points, they can be support and resistance. Our targets are specifically pivot points and market imbalances. Timing is that bar count. That's the thing that helps us identify the new short to medium term trend. Hennison, it's a good question you ask. Is this a reversal trading strategy? No. This is a new trend trading strategy. This is a markets are done moving in one direction and let's catch the new trend. This is catching the trend at the earliest point possible. So what happened right here with this New Zealand Swiss? If you look at this right here, hi Ann, is this Ann Fong, I think? I'll show you a little bit more about market imbalances. If you look at this chart right here, and you look at what this has been doing for the last couple of months, would you say that Hennison, this is a good question. Of course I remember you, Ann. I would never forget you. Hennison, as you look at this right here, would you say that there is reversal trading to be done, or is there trend trading to be done? You see a trend here? Does anybody see a trend here? Anybody see a trend here? I don't see any kind of trend here. I see a channel. I see something that's been going sideways for a couple of months. And I see imbalances and vulnerabilities in the movement that we can trade towards. So what we're always doing is we're trading towards the hope of a new, bigger, longer trend, but we're doing it in bite-sized chunks of 10 to 25 pips. There are a few good market imbalances in there. So, and because you just asked, and it's always worth repeating, a market imbalance is a consolidation and a breakout with no pullback. You mark the high of that consolidation if it's a breakout up, and that becomes a target or it becomes an area to get in on a pullback to keep trading in the direction of the trend. So in this case right here, because we had a high bar count, we had multiple targets down below, then we used this as our target to trade to because we had multiple lower targets and a high bar count and a great level to trade against. And this was an actual trade that we did. And again, it just comes back to the three very simple steps, right? Three super simple steps, which are, we had timing, which was our bar count. How do we find that timing? We use our scanner software. Our scanner software will tell us, so that I'm not combing through 50 charts trying to find one trade, I can look and find everything on every currency pair on the 5-minute chart that looks remotely interesting to me. It's all right here. It's all right here. I just look right at it, and I don't have to spend a second otherwise, because it's all right in front of me here. So this is going to tell me timing, but then coming back over here, I need to find those targets. I need to find those missed pivots, and I need to find those market imbalances. And then I need to make sure that I've got a good level I'm trading off of. So in this case right here, is this a good place for the New Zealand Swiss to turn around and start heading back down? Well, you tell me. We got in right here at 69.10. And what's happening at 69.10? Well, we're having highs of the last couple of months at 69.10. So we've got this bar count telling us time to come down, market. We've got great targets down below, and we're now trading against this nice little level. And I'm sure it pushed up through just a little bit, made its way down. But this was a great trade that we made some good money on, and some members are still in this. They're still in this trade and still making money, which is super, super awesome. Cool, George. Yeah, that's cool. You like to throw some fib levels on there as well. That's awesome. That's super awesome. Okay, so another example of how we're using these 5-minute charts. If you're kind of into the bigger trades, you're into the bigger trades and you're thinking to yourself, I like bigger trades. How do I use this 5-minute technique that you're talking about on these bigger trades? Or maybe I don't want to trade reversals, or whatever the case may be. So this trade that I just showed you right here, well, let's go back up to it. New Zealand CAD. Where is it? There we go, New Zealand CAD. Our entry price, 91.55. Our exit price, 90.75. Nice little 80 pip run right here. So I didn't use the 5-minute chart to enter this trade, but guess what? I used the 5-minute chart to exit this trade. And it gave me fantastic, wonderful confirmation. As you guys can see right here, we got out at 90.75. That was today at 8:14 a.m. So several hours ago. The 14th of March at 8:14 a.m. we were able to get out of this trade. So what was happening then, and where did we get out of this? Remember, we got out at 90.75. Tell me where the low, in case anybody was wondering that's in the trade group, by the way, why we got out of this, tell me what the low of this little dip is. So we got out today on this little dip right here. Can anyone see that low right there? Can you see what that price is? Anyone see that? That is 90.74. So we got out at 90.75. So I was pretty close to the bottom. We missed it by a pip. But we got out right at the bottom of this. Right absolutely at the bottom of this trade. So we got a nice little entry over here, ran against us a couple of pips, ran down for us in a nice little perfect little area. Now, I'll tell you guys why I got out of this trade and how we got out of it. And I'll even give you a little secret. I'm looking to get back into this trade for a big sell and take it down another 100 pips. And I think we're going to get down there. And I think it'll be an awesome, fantastic, great trade. But let me show you why I got out of this. Because I went to my 5-minute chart and I said, what's going on with this 5-minute chart? Well, guess what I had going on with this 5-minute chart? I had this, and it was showing up on my scanner. I had a bar count, right? This thing down here was 270 bars when it started hitting those lows. It started dipping down here, and we were coming into the 200s, and I thought, I really want to trade this down lower, but this is getting extended. My bar count, my timing is telling me that this needs to start moving back towards the moving averages, back up towards that 200 EMA. And guess what happened? Well, it did. It ran back towards that 200 EMA, and it made a nice little push over there. So what did I do on this trade? Well, as this bar count continued to increase and continued, and it got over here and we were at 270 bars, and I said, I got to get out of this thing. The bar count was big. We had a lot of space between the moving average and current price on the 5-minute chart. We're talking a pretty short-term trade here, or short-term chart. And the other thing that happened is, what did I have up above? I had 2 consecutive missed daily pivot points. Missed daily pivot, not hit. Missed daily pivot, not hit. So now I have this bar count. I have a little bit of support over here. This was a level from about 24, 48 hours earlier. So I have a little bit of support. I have 2 targets up above, and I have a bar count, and I'm selling this. I'm trading this down. So what my technique told me is it said, it's time to get out of the trade and take the profit. And so I did. And we got out absolutely at the bottom of this, and it turned around and went back up. Now, could I have jumped in and bought this and traded this higher? Absolutely. And I will talk more about that as we go. And that is heavily covered in some of the course material that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So I use the technique to get me into a trade. I use the technique to get me out of trades, and it works out super fantastically well. Some people say, and Hennessy asking, you know, about a reversal strategy and so on. Some people say, I don't like trading reversals. And I always tell everyone the same thing now. We're not trading reversals. We're looking for new trends. And sometimes these new trends don't go very long, and sometimes they do. And whatever that new trend is, remember, we're going to use bar counts and we're going to use targets to identify what the new trend is. Why do I want to be selling New Zealand CAD? Because there are no significant targets up above. I sold it right here at this missed monthly pivot. That's where I sold it. And all the targets are down below. All the targets are down below. All of them are down below. We have tons of targets down below. So which direction should we be trading? What's the trend on this? The trend is going to be down. Mark my words. We've already made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pips on this trade already. So you know, it's a nice you know, it's going to hopefully continue giving us what we need and working into a trend that follows those big targets. So Hennessy stop loss levels, that's a big discussion. That's a big discussion, and there is a lot to be said about that. And so I will let you use the stop losses that you're comfortable with right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about stop losses and management and so on in the course material. Once again, I don't want the webinar to go on for hours and hours. There's so much to talk about that it would if I discussed everything. But you can use stop losses whenever you get in. You know, a very simple answer to that question would be, you know, New Zealand CAD, right? Or excuse me, New Zealand Swiss. This little 5-minute trade. You get into this thing depending on the types of entries you take. If you take a trend line breakout, if you take some sort of, you know, you're getting in because there's a lot of space and this is bumping against a level, you can put your stop loss, you know, above the level it's bumping up against. You can do all of that. I will be honest, Hennessy, and most people in here know, I use stop losses very rarely. I use stop losses mostly to protect profit. On short-term trades, there's a whole money management side of things that is super, super important. And again, I can't cover the whole entire technique and the whole entire strategy here, but I just want you guys to watch these 3 things. I want you to specifically and very closely watch, hold on, there we go. Watch for those 3 deals right there. Watch for bar counts on 5-minute charts. Watch for targets to be very one-sided. Pivot points, market imbalances, any of that stuff. And watch for levels. Where has something been hitting? You know, is it at a monthly high? Is it at a monthly low? And yearly high, yearly low, weekly high, weekly low. Watch those 3 things and just try to put the strategy into action. When you find those high bar counts and those targets, take a demo trade towards those targets. Make sure you have a level, make sure you've got a bar count, and make sure you've got a good target to be aiming towards. And these trades work very, very fantastically well. Okay, does that make sense to most of you guys, to any of you guys, to some of you guys? Does that make sense a little bit? What do you guys think about that? What does everybody think about that whole situation? How do you feel about all that? Okay, excellent. Thank you guys, thank you, good. Questions, what do we have? Questions, comments? Thanks, Yemi and Ray and so on. Kara, thank you. Need time to digest all this. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome, Ann. Thanks for coming. Okay, clear. Okay, good stuff. Want to try this out? Excellent. Okay, guys. So let me talk to you about how you can get a lot more information about this. Recording will be sent out. Yes, this is recorded. People were asking about stop losses. They were asking about more details about all of this, right? And the question, these are all good questions, and because we don't have hours and hours on this webinar, I'm just giving, as much as I can on the technique, and there will be more follow-up to come. Eric, it's a good question. If you join the group, will you get the same results? Well, let's talk about this for a moment. Here's how we get started today, guys. I have a little special offer for all of you. Every time I do one of these webinars, which is about once a year, maybe twice a year, I like to meet with everybody that is joining the group or that gets part of this, that becomes part of kind of our trading family. So right now I'm offering everybody a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session. It's kind of funny to say that it's a $197 value, because you could say it's more, you could say it's less. I don't really do one-on-one sessions anymore outside of the people that pay, $5,000 to $10,000 to have a few sessions with me. So I just put this dollar amount to make it seem a little real. Realistically, people are paying anywhere from $500 to $1,000 an hour to do one-on-one sessions with me. But I want to do a little orientation, an individual orientation session with anybody that wants to take a step with us. And so I'll do a 30-minute session with any individual and get to know you, talk to you about the technique, make sure you're using it to the best of your ability. What else I'm offering today in a fantastically excellent package deal here is that you get access to this software that I talked about. This is the Forex Scanner software. I have the Forex Scanner course that costs $100, and I'm giving access to that, which is a $97 value to that software that I just showed you guys, that will show you all the setups on all the time frames, one screen at a time. And so you can literally cut down the time you're spending in front of your charts by 90% to find trades, 90+%. So I'm throwing that in there. So we're at 197 plus 97. I'm also doing, with this group offering here, where I'm going to do a one-on-one session with you, give you access to some of my most valuable software. I also do live monthly webinars. That's 12 webinars a year, one a month. And for these group coaching sessions, which I do some of these as well, these are typically, depending on the situation, but they're typically $50 to $100 per session. But I just said it's $50 a session. So you get that. That's a nice little $600 value for the year. And I've got a brand new course, and I'm super excited about it. And it is called the 5-Minute Pips, and it's awesome. And it goes into a whole bunch of detail, like 4 hours of detail with examples, explanations, charts, and so on of what we just covered. Keep in mind, we've been talking for about an hour, and we've been talking about trading stuff for about a half an hour. So I've got 4 hours worth of trading material related to my new scalping course. The new scalping course is going to be $97. In fact, I wasn't even going to sell the scalping course. It was going to have to be included with a group, and I thought, I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to learn this method and learn this technique and have a better idea of how this trading works. So now, this is all one package deal, by the way, guys. So we're talking one-on-one sessions. We're talking educational webinars, live webinars once a month. We're talking a brand new scalping course that is just getting released today, and it talks about how to really, really, really effectively use the 5-minute chart that I just discussed. Hennison, good question. Does a Forex scanner, it's for MetaTrader, and does it include audio pop-up alerts? No, it does not, but you can add those. And actually, I have a new version of the scanner coming out that will include text messages, so that'll at least help. But yes, it's a good question. To top all of this off, a lot of people say, okay, well, if I get this trading course and then I try to do the same thing that you just talked about, I'm not going to get the same results. And somebody was just asking that. And so will you get the same results? It's a very, very good question. Well, for this reason, I use this technique very heavily in my trade group. And I give daily trade recommendations with very specific entries and very specific exits, so that you don't have to, you can learn and earn at the same time. You don't have to guess if you're doing it right. You can get all the help and all the guidance you can imagine through daily recommendations, videos, monthly webinars, and a one-on-one session. And that's what I'm offering everybody today. So as I mentioned, we have a one-on-one coaching session that will help you get up to speed and started with everything, access to the Forex Scanner software, my new scalping course, my Forex Scalping course, how to trade the 5-minute chart, the 5-minute pips. This is awesome. 1 year of live monthly webinars for $600. 1 year of daily trade recommendations. All of this I will give to you today for $1,591. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, you guys know I'm going to give you a much better deal. But these are all things that are actually really included and that really very much work. So the question is that I have for everybody is, what is it worth to trade profitably? What is it worth? What is it worth to not be burning ourselves out in front of our computers and spending all this time trading and spending a little bit more time with our family or on the beach or building snowmen? What is it worth to have some extra flexibility and to be trading profitably? For me, that's worth an awful lot, a whole lot. So today, I want to offer you guys an amazing, fantastic package deal that is daily trade recommendations, monthly webinars, one-on-one session, access to the Forex Scanner software, and access to the new scalping course, which once again, I think is super awesome, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys today. Here's a couple of things that people in the trade group have shared, and I hope I'm not abusing too much privacy here, but this is posted in our public chat, and I've taken some screenshots. Somebody said, I was just looking at my Oanda app at my performance over the last 6 months, which is approximately the time I've been with Jared. 98.6% win rate. This person I know trades very conservatively and has made $1,711 trading with me in a very conservative, very careful manner for the last couple of months. That's great. That's a real person. That's not me making it up. I've seen other people post some very excellent results in here about joining the group and having some fantastic results. 6 to 7% in the month of January, 2% for their first week of trading, 5% for the first week of trading. Everybody's doing awesome. Everyone's having some good success. Markets move better sometimes than others, but we're all headed in the right direction and we're making money. So these are real people that are really in my trade groups that are really doing all of this. And all of that, as I mentioned, all these things right here that come in a massive form and that are really big game changers are included today for you guys for 1 year for $399. That's just about a 70% discount for you guys today. This offer will be available for a whopping 24 hours. So I will absolutely shut this off in 24 hours, but there's 24 hours to sign up and get all of that for the price of $399. The reason I offer these things for this price is because I want everybody to have access. I want everybody to be able to do this. I know there's premium products out there and they say, we don't care about people that can't afford it. We only care about the people that can afford it. I wish I was that guy. I'm not that guy. I want everybody to be able to afford this and be able to have access to it. I want everybody to be able to work with me and for all of us to learn together. I've been trading for 17 or 18 years at this point, and I have learned a whole lot along the way. And those that are in my trade group, and you can see the testimonials there, we make money. This isn't talk. This isn't marketing. This isn't anything. We make money. I want the group to grow and build, of course, but we make money trading every day and every week, and it's a great thing. So for a nice little 24-hour time here, you can get all of that for $399 as opposed to $1,591. For those that are in the group and that know me well and have done one-on-one sessions, I thought about this and I didn't want to do it, but I decided to do it for you guys. Thing number one, if you go to dtfx.co/15 minutes daily, 15-minutes-daily, you can get access to the full package here, which is a $1,591 value for $399. If you join our group right here, 15 minutes daily, if you join this group, I will know that you're joining from this webinar and you will get access to the scalping course absolutely free. This is available for just the next 24 hours. You will get a one-on-one session with me. You'll get access to our live trading group. You'll get daily trade recommendations, monthly webinars, and so on. For those that say, look, I just can't swing $399, and I get it. Not everybody can, and that's understandable. There is another option. You can go to dtfx.co/scalping, and you can get just the course for $97. That doesn't include one-on-one sessions. That doesn't include daily trade recommendations. It does not include monthly webinars. It just is the course. Now, the course is awesome. I have to say the course is super awesome because this is all the stuff that we've talked about and more. This is dtfx.co/scalping. And you can get this. You can get this course just on its own. You can see what it's up to and all the things that it comes with and how people are doing. It's awesome. It's a great course, and you're going to love it. And it's $97, and it's just the course on its own. I'll do a couple of follow-up webinars with those that buy just the course. We'll probably do about 2 live webinars to make sure everyone's questions are answered and that everyone feels like they understand what they're doing. But by far, you can see that the scanner group that includes that and includes daily trade recommendations and includes monthly webinars and includes a 30-minute session with me is probably going to be the better bet. But I will let you guys decide, and I'll let you know that these things are available, that this deal is available for the next 24 hours. There is the link to the package deal, 15 minutes daily. And here's the link if you just want it on its own. Full package above. And this is just the course above. So that's just the course or the full package, which includes a whole year of a lot of fantastic stuff. So what do you guys think? What does everybody think? What questions do we have? Let's see here. Okay, let me go back to some of the questions here. Okay, you guys have a lot of questions. Let me just see what scalping course provides additional know-how strategies on top of the scanner course. Yes, it does, Tony. Absolutely. Tony, send me an email, by the way, if you can upgrade. And Tony, what might be best for you since you're already in the scanner group is just getting the scalping course. What about the course on how to use the Forex scanner and the course on how to trade the longer-term swing trade timeframes? I don't know if I understand your question, Henderson. Maybe you can rephrase that for me. Can you upgrade to the updated version of the scanner course? Yeah, Tony, like I said, send me a message. We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. John, is there a 90-day guarantee? John, I want you to be happy with the course. So if you get involved in it, there is definitely, you'll have my time and energy and attention to make this work. But I do not have a 90-day guarantee. I make sure that people join this group and are with me for a year, and at the end of it, they make money and they're successful at trading. So guarantees are for people typically that that don't have a very good product. So we don't have a lot of people that don't love what we offer here. How do we get lifetime access? Yeah, the course is lifetime. I don't have lifetime access to any of my trade groups because they're monthly and yearly access. And for the scanner group, it's only yearly access. Ooh, we got a lot of good questions here. What's the latest version of the scanner software? Bought it last year, used it. Haven't used it much. See, I don't have an account anymore on your website. Yeah, if you bought the scanner SIM, then you'll still, if you're having any kind of trouble getting into the scanner members website, send me an email. Send an email to support@daytradersfx, and we'll definitely get you hooked up there. Tony, people that are in the scanner group, do you have to pay full price for the new course? Yes. Yep, and that's why I wasn't even going to sell the new course. I was going to bundle it with joining the group, and I thought people that are in the scanner group already, I want to be able to give them access. Okay, Mel, good question. The scanner software is what we use for the scalping as well. But in the scalping course, there's a little bit less of a focus on the bar count, but we use the scanner to just easily find quick trades. So yes, same software. Ray, what time are my live trades? I post trades throughout the day, morning, afternoon, evening. Most of the time, people have plenty of time to jump in there and get into those trades. So they're posted basically 24 hours a day. So we have members from all over the world, from the UK, from Australia, New Zealand. So I'm very aware of that. I try to make sure that these trades are not, you know, they're not so short term that we're in and out in 5 minutes. Most of the time, these 5-minute pips, they happen on the 5-minute charts, but they can take a little bit of time to play out. Sometimes they take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Average risk to reward, Hennessy. Well, we haven't taken a losing trade in the scanner group. So if that helps, if that helps to kind of determine what the risk to reward is, it's pretty good. Kara, how long are you typically in a trade using scalping techniques? Good question, Kara. We're in these trades, even though they're on the 5-minute charts. And that's why we call them 5-minute pips, because they're 5-minute charts. But we're not in the trade for 5 minutes. We're in the trade sometimes for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes it's all day long. But we don't have to sit and watch it. We just set our parameters and we let it go. Hennessy, if you're just interested in the scanner itself, you can go to dtfx.co/scanner. Yep. So if anyone's just interested in the scanner itself, you can go right to the scanner page. Thanks, Chris. Both groups will be looking forward to the scalping course. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yes, Hennessy, in the scanner course there, you can get access on how to use the scanner on all time frames in MetaTrader 4. Yes, Hennessy, you'll have access to all the material in the scanner course for your life. Yes, absolutely. Randy, where do we sign up for the package deal? The one listed above is a scanner group for $33 recurring monthly basis. The scanner group, if you look closely, that's what it comes out to be, is $33 a month, but it is billed annually in one bill. So that's the $3.99. So if you go to this site right here, this is the package deal. So if you go down right there, you can see it's $33 per month, billed annually. Billed annually. It's a reoccurring annual bill, and it'll include the new scalping course. Thanks, George. Good to see you, my friend. So is yearly membership different from the yearly group you already have? Yes. So in this membership, we focus on scanner and scalping trades only. In my other group, we focus on a lot of different types of trading strategies. This one is scanner scalping only. Scanner scalping only, which is why it's a less expensive group, because we really kind of hone down on one technique specifically. The other group, we're looking for bigger, longer-term trades, more, bigger market movement, and so on. So the other group's considerably more expensive. Okay, good. Anybody else have any other questions? Any other questions at all? Any other questions? Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for being on. Remember, this is all available for the next 24 hours. Go to 15 Minutes Daily to get the package deal. If you want just the scalper course by itself, go to dtfx.co/scalping. That's just the course on its own. But if you want the package deal, which will be available for the next 24 hours, go to dtfx.co/15-minutes-daily. Thanks a bunch, everybody. I'll send this webinar out. I'll get it all sent to you guys. And thanks a million for attending. And I'll just post this one more time. Hey, thank you, guys. Take care, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you all soon. See you guys.